All right, it's time for that Covrprice Top 10. Today, we're going back 1 year. All right, guys, it is time for our Covrprice Top 10. I love this list. We go back 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. Before we get into this list and really break it down, I want to remind everybody a week from today, May 12th, if you're watching this video the day it comes out, May 12th on Whatnot. Myself, Pressable Defects, back together, taking the YouTube auctions to Whatnot. Everything you remember from YouTube, literally everything, is coming over to Whatnot. Give me a follow. We're going to be doing it on my channel, VERYGARY_comics. Make sure you give Pressable Defects a follow. You're not going to want to miss this show. We're giving away a PlayStation 5. We are also giving away an X-Men 266 first appearance of Gambit. You don't want to miss it. Again, we're taking those YouTube auctions. We're taking it to YouTube, taking it to Whatnot, the new Defective Collective, and of course, month in and month out, we'll be bringing guests on, so don't forget, check us out, VERYGARY_comics over on Whatnot. If you haven't downloaded the app or purchased anything, in the description down below, there is a $10 off coupon for Whatnot. There's also a discount code for Covrprice. Let's get into this list. Let me tell you quickly about Covrprice. This list and reflective write-up come directly from our friends at Covrprice, focusing on their top 10 list. They reflect on what the top trends were 1 year ago. I'll take you through how each title sales compare from last year's market values to today's current values. How did these comics do? What had a boost in price? What had a bust? And let's start with our favorite, number 10. This is Spiderverse number 6. This issue features many first appearances: the Spinster, Sea Spider, Spider Requiem, Garden Spider, Spider Sting, V, Sun Spider, Spider, and White Widow. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse is traveling in various dimensions, set to feature over 200 characters. With so many characters appearing, many speculators 1 year ago felt that some of these first appearances were bound to appear even for a brief moment. The many first appearances helped this hyper hot book land on the list with a raw, near mint, fair market value of $363, $1,825 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, these characters either have a blink and you'll miss it to no appearance, at least as we've seen in the recent trailers. This was definitely one of those books that climbed to unsustainable market values. Today, 9.8 sell for a fair market value of $413, $115 for raw. Keep in mind, these prices are still fantastic for this issue, yet they are very far from their all-time high. Bust. As we've seen in the recent market heat, new Spider characters are extremely hot, yet not every Spider variant can be Miles or Gwen. Which one have that long-term potential? It's very hard to say if any of these can hit that fandom, though this could be the book to watch for now. Guys, this list is going to be a lot of this. It's going to be hurting. And you got to remember, a year ago in 2022, we were just breaking into 2022. This is going to be a tough list. Don't fall for FOMO. You're probably going to hear that a lot today. At least with the Spider-Man characters, they're hit and miss, but the ones that hit usually hit big. The ones that miss don't miss as big. Please don't be that person buying at the peak. You got to be careful. Let's get to number 9. This is Thor God of Thunder number 2. This time last year, Thor Love and Thunder helped Gore's first appearance reclaim a spot in the top 10 as fans were itching to see the first glimpse of Christian Bale's God Butcher in yet-to-be-released trailer. The exceptional anticipation of this film helped Gore's first hit a raw, near mint, fair market value of $180 and $480 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, the film was released and failed to meet the expectations of diehard fans. While the film had a decent Rotten Tomato audience score of 77%, Gore and Bale fans felt the villain was a mere plot device and wasn't the threat his comic version created. Speculation on Gore ended almost immediately, with near mint raw fair market values currently at $38 and $141 for a 9.8. This is a bust, and unfortunately, this one may be so for the foreseeable future. This movie was so bad, it made the first appearance of Gore worth less than it was before he was announced as the villain. Gore the God Butcher in the comic books is a force to be reckoned with. He is a great villain, easily one of Thor's greatest threats. Taika Waititi ruined him, and not only that, is damaged the Thor franchise. You can come at me in the comments. Please do. Because Thor, God of Thunder, hurt. That movie hurt. It was so bad. And you took a phenomenal villain with an outstanding actor and ruined it. Ruined him. Wasted him. Wasted Christian Bale. Wasted Gore. As far as I'm concerned, wasted eternity. Like, Taika Waititi, it was so frustrating as a Thor fan watching that movie. And just the potential, if you have not read Thor God of Thunder, read it. Do yourselves a favor. It's in omnibus form. You can probably find the trade paperbacks. Read it. And then try to decide. It's not much. Then go back and think of that stupid movie. I'm sorry. Let's go to number 8. This is Batman Beyond the White Knight #1, second print, virgin foil, 1 in 25. Last year, a new Robin cameoed in this issue, and fans were all over this hard-to-find 1 in 25 virgin foil variant, hitting highs of $100 raw, $162 and a 9.8 a month later. 1 year later, the market has moved on, and this now sells for $30 raw, and 9.8 sales for $54. This one's a bust. Little FOMO here, you think? All right, number 9 was not FOMO. Number 10, possibly. Definitely number 8. Big FOMO hit here. Let's go to number 7. This is Vengeance #1. The Multiverse of Madness was released 1 year ago, and the fan expectations rivaled that of any film in 2023. The debut of America Chavez in the film shined the spotlight back on her first appearance, pushing it to a fair market value of $300, $12.50 and a 9.8. 1 year later, MCU fans haven't seen America since, and the news about her future has been very silent. Though it's been stated that she'll return at some point, still her first fell hard, sliding back to 2020 prices. Keep in mind that while this is a bust, these prices were well over her pre-MCU announcement, and seeing her again is very high. The opportunity to buy at the current lows is there. All right, very good point there. The lows right now are still higher than they were. Now, we're far from the highs, and we'll probably never hit those. But it's definitely a possibility that this book peaks a little bit, goes up a little bit if we start getting America Chavez rumors and news, which I think we should. She was an all right character, nothing crazy about her, but she's relevant to the multiverse saga, right? She has to be. Let's go. How about number 6? This is Captain Carter #1, the animation variant. This is a 1 in 25. Another Multiverse of Madness book landed in the top 10 last year. After first appearing in the Disney Plus What If animated series, Captain Carter appeared in the Multiverse of Madness movie. It's only fitting that the same art style of the cover of her first solo series would be well received. It hit a high sale of $325 for a near mint raw copy, $568 and a 9.8. 1 year later, like Captain Carter, her market values were severely slashed. This book fell to its current $70 near mint raw, $148 for a 9.8. Again, this is typically a great price for 1 in 25. It's just a severe bust from those all-time highs. That is a great point. We're still up from where we should be, especially in a 1 in 25, but we are down from the peak. That is the common theme here in this entire list. All right, we're far from the peak, but we're still up from the bottom, except Gore, Taika Waititi, horrible. Captain Carter, I don't know if we're going to see her again in the MCU live action. We are going to see her probably in What If on Disney Plus. We'll see. Is it going to help motivate the sale of the book? I'm not sure. Was she really a crazy popular character? I don't know, not my thing, but some of you guys might think so. Again, don't be that person at the high. Don't buy at the high. Let's go to number 5. This is Thor #1 from 2014. Very important to say that because it was this time last year when the trailer for Thor Love and Thunder debuted, featuring Jane Foster as Thor. Fans immediately turned to this accessible book, featuring her on the cover with a high raw fair market value of $80 and $501 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, we know now that Jane Foster's Thor met her end at the end of the film, thereby taking market values with her. Today, near mint raws have a fair market value of $25 and $94 for a 9.8. This is a bust. However, the post-credit scene did set her up for a possible return. So if you're a fan of Jane Foster's Thor, these current fair market prices are pretty darn low. They are low. It is a really cool cover. I do like the cover. It's a Jason Aaron run. I love Jason Aaron writing Thor. But I don't think Thor, if Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, comes back to the MCU, I don't think she's coming back as Lady Thor. I think she's going to come back as a Valkyrie. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but that's just my assumption. There's no rumors out there. That's just what I believe. Let's go to number 4. This is Exiles #3. Expanding on Captain Carter's appearance in Multiverse of Madness, the cover of this book has Peggy Carter in her Captain America outfit, which sent fans clamoring for this hard-to-find Exiles issue and its rare game variant. We tracked it on a raw near mint fair market value at $120 with a high of $500 for a 9.8. 1 year later, like Captain Carter #1, this has fallen to a near mint fair market value of $56 and $180 for a 9.8. It is a bust. However, the game variant for this issue continues to do well and seems to be the mostly holding in value. However, most copies seem to be sitting and very few recent sales. That makes sense to me. My TV's talking to me. That makes sense to me because it's a very difficult variant to find, so I can understand how and why the values hold, but is it really going to go up anymore? I don't think so, and with issues barely selling, you can probably hold out to drive the price down a little bit. With that, let's go to number 3. This is Assassin and Son #1, not a Marvel book. WWE fans are no strangers to the late Hall of Famer Shad Gaspard, who also wrote Assassin and Son #1. It was this time last year when news broke that this series was optioned for a movie by State Street Pictures. Since the announcement, this book has garnered increased interest, with copies trending at a near mint fair market value of $15 and a high sale of $80 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, there's been no news. While this is typical for most productions, it's unknown how things are progressing with the project. Therefore, collectors moved and let this fall back down to a fair market value of $3 with no recent non-bulk 9.8 sales. This is a bust. However, expect this book to pop again if news breaks on it. So there may be some value here, and I have no problem taking $3 risks all day on near mint copies. That's easy. I'll do that all day of the week because if I can turn $3 into $15 to $25, that's a huge markup, especially if news breaks and if something happens with this and it becomes good. Oh, forget it. Now you've got something here. Let's go to number 2. But before we go to number 2, I want to remind everybody, check the description down below. Check out Covrprice.com and check out Covrprice's YouTube channel. They're all over the place. It is an absolutely fantastic tool to use if you are a collector, if you want to know current trending values, market values, what your collection is worth. Check it out. Use the code down below. Get yourself that discount at Covrprice.com. Let's go down to number 2. This is New Avengers #7. Last year, the Multiverse of Madness teased the debut of many new characters and new team appearances. Once the Illuminati were confirmed in the most recent trailer, fans rushed to pick up this first appearance of the legendary Marvel group. It had a high sale of $415 for a CGC 9.8 and raw copies with a fair market value of $72. 1 year later, we now know that the Illuminati didn't fare so well in the film. While there's still potential for a proper and alive Illuminati to appear, collectors moved away from this book, letting it fall to $25 raw and $84 for a CGC 9.8. However, this is a bust, but however, If you feel the Illuminati is due for a proper appearance, now's the time to get one. I agree. I do not see this book dropping much more in value. Do I think the MCU will bring an alive Illuminati, a modern Illuminati, the characters that we know and love to the MCU? It's absolutely possible. It is possible. I could see it happening. I could, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. Now, with that, let's get to number 1 on our list. This is the Mighty Thor 326 newsstand copy. This was an interesting addition to last year's top 10. The season finale of Moon Knight had many twists and turns, one of which was seeing the fantastic Layla spread her wings and soar into a brand new role, quite literally. Marvel confirmed her new identity as the Scarlet Scarab. What is interesting about this book is that there's no apparent connection between the TV portrayal of the hero and the comic book counterpart. This is the first appearance of the second Scarlet Scarab, the son of the first Scarlet Scarab, who debuted in Invaders number 23. Regardless of this disconnect, this book saw a massive increase with the conclusion of the Moon Knight series at a high sale of $345 for CGC 9.6, and near mint raws sales high as $122. 1 year later, the market recognized this disconnect and let near mint raws fall to $7 with no recent 9.6 sales. Ultimately, this was a bust. However, this summer, specifically in July, it was officially announced that Layla El Faloui's superhero debut as that all-new Scarlet Scarab will be in Moon Knight City of the Dead. It'll be interesting to see how that anticipated release will do in the aftermarket. Let's see. I won't hold my breath. You know how I am with the FOMO. Be careful. With that, let's break this down and quickly go over this whole list. Now, unfortunately, or ultimately, I should say, this top 10 a year later is just brutal. Every book on this list was a bust. It perfectly took a snapshot of what was trending 1 year ago. It's an interesting view on the highly speculated content books that crashed hard post-release. While this is typical for most content books, even characters still in the MCU fell hard. This was truly a product of some Marvel Phase 4's lack of momentum and the great length of time we have to wait to see them appear again. The long delay definitely affected their overall market value and is something to keep in mind when investing in future content-driven characters. Still, such a fascinating list of where we were in 2022 and where we are today in 2023. Guys, make sure you check out Covrprice.com, their top 10 and current movers and shakers list, and come back next time because we're going to do this list again, except we're going to go back 3 years. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep it comics.